and today's recipe, we're making a homemade lasagna. And I was going to share with y'all how we do it. I make my own sauce from some canned tomatoes that we've got, and with some oregano and basil and garlic. And I'll show you how I mixed all this up, and we're going to ground our ground beef. We've got our pre-cooked noodles that you don't have to use. You don't have to pre-cook them. You can go ahead and put them right into your lasagna as soon as you get all your ingredients mixed up. These can be baked in the oven without being pre-cooked or boiled. You know, boiled on the top of the stove. You don't have to do that. You miss that step with these. So it makes it a lot easier and simple to have homemade lasagna. But we've already started the sauce over here, so I thought I'd bring y'all, turn you on and let you see. I thought this might be a good idea for a quick, easy what's for dinner idea. So I wanted to share it with y'all. So let me turn you around here, and we're going to show you everything it takes to make your homemade lasagna. This is the sauce that we made for the lasagna, and I'm going to show this to y'all. And I wanted to say too, before I was to forget, thanks for watching, and if you like this video on homemade lasagna, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit the red button down below if you hadn't subscribed to our channel, or if you have, thanks for subscribing and keeping up with our videos. You never know what you're going to get around here at Small Town Southern Wife. We do garden videos, cooking videos, sharing what we do videos, what's coming up, and even worrying about how the groceries are so high right now, and what's cheap, easy recipes to cook for dinner whenever, you know, meat and all the stuff at the grocery stores are getting higher and higher. So we've got to figure out how to have cheap meals to save money for what's for dinner. So I'll keep trying to show y'all easy recipes that, you know, that don't cost a lot. But I'm going to turn you around right now and show you this tomato marinade I made for my lasagna. Okay, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a couple cans of diced tomatoes. I used 1 can of tomato sauce, 1 egg, a little bit of ricotta cheese, some oregano and basil, salt and black pepper, a little minced garlic, Parmesan cheese, some sharp cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese. You've got to have mozzarella for lasagna, and some of the oven-ready lasagna noodles. And then we have some of our fresh beef that we got. And then right here is my sauce that I've already made up. This is just the tomato sauce and a couple cans of the diced tomatoes with garlic, oregano and basil, and a little salt and black pepper, and also a little garlic powder. So let that cook. We're going to let that cook down for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we're going to start grounding our ground beef, and we're going to then do what you have to do to a lasagna and put it together. While our ground beef mixture's mixing up, we're going to mix our filling that we're going to use in the lasagna. Right here we're going to add this whole cup of the ricotta cheese, and I've just got the Great Value brand, trying to watch our money. That the off brand's a little bit cheaper to help you save a little money. And then to that we're going to add 2 eggs. I've decided to go ahead and add 2 because I've got so much of the ground beef. To my mixture. This would be what you layer. Each layer, you'll put a layer of this in your lasagna. So let's get that mixed up. It takes just a little bit of work. That cheese will start softening up and mixing, combining with those eggs. And just mix it till you get it all blended well. Then once you get it mixed well, just set it to the side until your beef is cooked and drained. Make sure you drain your ground beef and get all the grease out of it. You don't want a greasy lasagna. Okay, we're going to set that to the side. Starting to get a little thicker, just thickening up, but you don't want it too thick. My ground beef is just now starting to cook down. Now that my marinara sauce is cooking down and starting to get a little thicker, I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon, not much, just a tiny bit of sugar to it. And that little bit of sugar, if you hadn't ever cooked tomato sauce or made like spaghetti sauce yourself, that tiny bit of sugar to the tomato sauce will just take away the bitterness of the tomatoes. It's not enough sugar to even to taste it to make it sweet. It just takes that bitterness away from those tomatoes. That way your sauce don't have a bittery taste to it. And then give that a good mix and it'll start just cooking down. Let's see how pretty it's starting to get thicker and turn. I got to get this lid back on it because it's going to start splattering. Let's see our ground beef. We got it cooking down. This big iron skillet is big enough for the 3 pounds of ground beef. This should be enough for us to eat for dinner and maybe to have leftovers. But let's let that finish cooking up. And after that gets cooked, we're going to drain the grease. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of onion powder and some garlic powder. And then give that a good mix. So I added a little bit more onion powder and garlic powder to my meat. And letting that cook in the meat a little bit. And then we're fixing to drain it and get to putting together our lasagna. Okay, this is what I've got set up to drain. I've got me a big mixing bowl, and then I've got my strainer. This is a stainless steel strainer that Travis got for me a while back. And then now we're going to take the meat and put it in here and let it sit there and drain the grease for about 15 minutes. I may need that, so I'm going to set it right over here. And we're going to put our ground beef in the strainer. And let it sit there and drain. Get all my ground beef out of there. Give it a little toss so that it'll help it loosen up so the grease will drain out and go through. And depending on if you like your ground beef a little bit in the bigger, chunkier size, you can leave it. And if not, you could just, go ahead and chop up your ground beef a little bit finer, depending on how you like it. And we're fixing to add the ground beef once it drains to our marinara sauce. And our meat will even cook down a little bit more inside the sauce. But let's let that sit there and drain, and then we'll get ready for the next step. Okay, now that our ground beef has drained and I've put my marinara sauce back on the front eye, I'm going to go ahead and add most of my ground beef to this sauce and let it start cooking down. I'm not going to use this spoon so I don't get the sauce in this meat in case it don't take all of it. But we're going to go ahead and start adding our ground beef to the sauce. And I think it will. I'm going to go ahead. Even if I have to make one, you could use this and make you one to put in the freezer. This could be a freezer meal to have. If you have too much, let's go ahead and mix that down in there and get that ground beef mixed in and let it start soaking it up those juices. And all the tomatoes that I use to make my sauce have almost cooked all the way down. And you can't even tell I used a can of diced tomatoes. Okay, and we're just going to give that a good mix and let that sit there and simmer and cook for about another 10 to 15 minutes. Just let it sit there and marinate together and all those good flavors blend together, and that's what's going to make a good lasagna. Okay, now just let that sit there for about 15 minutes and all of it blend together, and you're almost ready to assemble your... Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to start layering the marinara sauce with the meat that we made in the bottom, and I'm going to coat it with just a little bit of with a cooking spray, just so it don't stick so bad. It probably wouldn't stick, but I don't want it to, dirty up my pan as much. That'll help your pan not get it cooked on the side as much if you use a little bit of cooking spray. But we're going to go ahead and layer us a layer of the meat mixture down in our casserole dish. Okay, and then we're going to take the noodles and layer them in there. And this end over here, what I'm going to do is just break one of these up if I can get it to break. And just put it in there the best you can. It don't have to be the perfect shape. And then we're going to put a layer of the cheese mixture that we made. Get it mixed up just a little bit. This is what we mixed up earlier. And we're going to coat the top of the noodles with that. And just take it and smooth it in there. Okay. And then I'm going to put some Parmesan cheese. Just one layer of it over the top of the ricotta cheese and the egg mixture. And then we'll put some mozzarella. you know, lasagna, it's all about cheese. So really this is going to be a 4 different cheese recipe. In this lasagna, I'm using 4 different kinds of cheeses. And then some sharp cheddar. Just 1 layer. And the mozzarella, it sticks together a little bit more than the sharp cheddar. And now we're going to put another layer of your meat mixture. And if you don't use all this, like we said earlier, you could always make you one in a smaller, one of the throwaway little metal tins that you can get, the little pans, and put one in the freezer to use up your meat mixture. And then just put another layer of your noodles. That one broke good, but they don't always break good. And then another layer of your mixture. Just spread that out. And we need to go ahead too, and you need to preheat your oven to 350. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover my lasagna with foil. I don't want it to get too brown too fast, but I want it to be good and moist. And let it get good and done, the noodles get done. And then once it starts getting almost ready, I'll take the foil off and brown the top just a little bit to give your cheese the golden brown you're looking for. But this is a good what's for dinner recipe. And you just need a side to go with it. Maybe some garlic bread and you got dinner. Okay, I'm going to put 1 more layer of the meat mixture. I'm not going to put quite as much on this layer. Do it 1 more time. Push your noodles because we're getting to the top of the casserole dish, so I'm sort of just putting it down in there just a little bit. And then we'll use the rest of our sauce mixture. Just finish off the top with a little bit more of the meat sauce. And then we're going to cover it in cheese real good. Okay. We're going to take and cover it real good, heavy with the cheddar cheese. and a good helping of the mozzarella cheese. Okay, and then we're going to cover it with the foil. Move these up there out of the way, and I had a few noodles left over. Move this to the side. Move this over just a little bit, and we're going to wrap it in our foil. Get it good and tight. Try not to let it stick to your cheese though. Put it in the oven and bake it for 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, at this point I'm going to take the foil off and put it back in there. Okay, we just got it out of the oven and that's what it looks like. Let it cool down and everything blend together, and we'll cut us a serving and show you what it looks like once you cut it.